Greetings, this is Ron Smalek, and I'm reading Mockingjay, which is the third book in the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. What follows are my thoughts chapter by chapter. Alright, chapter 13, we see that PETA has been hijacked, which basically means drugged and brainwashed. We find out that hijacking is somehow related to Tracker Jacker Venom. I thought this might be just a little bit too referential to the first book. To me, it could have just been technology or drugs that the Capitol gave him. They didn't really need to go back and use the venom of the Tracker Jackers just to make that tie in, but it's fine. I noticed in this chapter that Prim, out loud, called Plutarch the Game Maker, and basically everyone in the room seems to agree and think of him still as the game maker, even though the games are obviously over. Excuse me. We find out that Effie is missing. They don't know what happened to her, whether she was killed, whether she was left behind, abducted, or she's just part of the Capitol. We don't know. PETA is clearly been brainwashed, and they're trying to figure out what to do about him. Katniss, of course, is beside herself, and she says, I have to get out of here. Send me to one of the districts to fight. And they basically decide that they're not going to really send her to fight per se, but District 2 is the only one left that's holding out against the rebels, and they're going to send her to District 2 to try and inspire the rebellion there. In Chapter 14, we find Katniss in District 2, and her and Gale have a bit of a moment. I'm almost like, I'm not quite getting tired of these little moments, but it's almost like he's testing her. He's trying to figure out, when is she going to either make a decision between him and PETA. But they do share a moment, and then the group, the main group of characters gets together to try to discuss how to crack the nut. And the nut is basically the heart of District 2 underneath a giant mountain. It's like a NORAD base, is how I envisioned it. And basically, they've tried and tried to break into the nut, but it's so well defensible that they can't do it. We meet Lime, and I thought it was interesting. This is the first person whose name was spelled a little bit different than I thought it would. Lyme instead of Lime. So her name is spelled more like the rock than like the fruit. But anyway, she's the commander of District 2, and we find out that she was a victor herself in one of the prior games. And Gale basically then comes up with the idea to trap the remaining holdouts of District 2 inside the nut by avalanching, covering all the entrances so that they're stuck inside, and basically starve them out until they, come out willingly.